bass amp, and I send that back to the return of the Zoom B6. Then I take the main output of the Zoom B6 and I run that to the return. And that is your full cable method. I don't know why I want to put method in front of cable. That is your full cable method right there. And if you want to run all that to the system, you just run an XLR out to the system from there. And you can also have different DI types on different sounds. So the DI type will only go from the main out. So if you want that on there, you can have that on there as well. Just going to your main to the return of your amp. So another thing about this method too, if you turn on your if you have something like a Ampeg SGT or any bass preamp pedal, you can run that, you know what I'm saying, and use that as the amp for your, the preamp for your thing. So let me give you so I would pretty much turn the send off and just use the dry, and then I have the SGT on. Right, it's still going to go through these effects. So let me take off that. In the return, don't need a return. No, yeah, you don't need a return because that's coming from the send. So we just need to dry. AG preamp. Right? Eden WTDI. So you could just be running whatever you want. You got options. You got options for days. And that's another way. If you want to be able to use your actual amps, preamp, sometimes, but then you want to have like you're kind of switching out bass amp heads. You can have different preamps, like I have the SGT DI, the Aguilar AG preamp. Those are pretty much bass amp heads that don't have power sections. So is the Eden WTDI. Same thing. They're all modeled after, well, not even modeled. They pretty much pulled the preamps from those amps and they made them a pedal. So since they did that, when I run them directly into the return of my amp, it's like I'm switching bass heads by just clicking through them instead of holding a bunch of, having a bunch of different amp heads with me. It's like I'm switching from a Ampeg Venture head to an Aguilar AG head to a Eden World Tour, bass amp. So it gives you a ton of options. Not to mention, if you use bass amps in here, You know, you can have your dry signal running, and then you can have a bass amp. Let me see something quick. Bass amps. Let's do SBT. Actually, I like this B15 too. This B15 on here is fire too. It's flip top. It's kind of crazy. Trick is to keep your gain low and push the volume. Yeah, so I actually just figured out. I don't know why I didn't think of this. You can do it with the 4K method. You can, so you sure can. So you're gonna take this. So the compressor's gonna be on everything, right? Then it's gonna this send plugin is gonna send pretty much divided up into two signals. It's gonna send out to the amp, to the preamp, and then it's also gonna allow your dry signal from the compressor to go straight through. Now that signal is going to be processed in this middle portion here between the send and the return. And you have complete control over whether you're going to the amp or whether you got this going with the IR. But the reason I don't use this method, like I said, is because I don't want that signal still going to the amp. So the signal's still going to the amp. So, you know, like I said, my other method is a little bit better for running IRs on bass. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want that cabinet. We don't want the cabinet IR on going to the amp. It doesn't sound good. So I would say if you just eliminate the Yeah, so it's still affecting the amp signal. So yeah, I was correct. The best way to do it, if you don't want the IR going to the cabinet, is just to run into the input of the B6, run a send out to your amp through the return, if that's what you want, um, and then run the XLR out from your Zoom B6. So but this 4 cable method is pretty cool. You got it's really flexible. It really does give you a ton of flexibility in terms of your drive signal and things like that, or different textures or layers to your signal. It definitely allows you to do all of that stuff. So I mean, overall, I think it is a really good method. It's just not the method I use in particular. One, I like to set up and get in and out pretty quickly, so I prefer my little 3 method cable, my little 3. I ain't said it right all night. My 3 cable method. It's really a 4 cable method, but I don't run back into the amp from there. So once I typically just bypass the preamp, just to be honest, because I like to use my preamp pedals as the head for my amp. So I pretty much bypass the built-in preamp. Even though I love the BA's preamp, it sounds amazing, especially on recordings and stuff. So, but if I wanted to use that BA head and like not run it back, so I would say I could use it like this. So if I want to run the BA head, I would just run it and just run it back in. And now yeah, I would definitely do that. I would definitely set this up a little differently for the IRs, just because you can't have that IR signal going to your bass cabinet. It's not a good look. It's not a good sound. So, definitely, I try this out if you want to experiment with some effects before your amps preamp and afterwards, and be able to mix those two. But if you want to just run, like if you want to run IRs and things like that, I would say go with the 3 cable method. That would definitely make your life a lot simpler. You only need to run to the amp once before, right where that send is. Like, if you was going to do it like this, or if you wanted the character of this flip top in there, you would just run the flip top before, come into the joint, and then, what I'm saying, go out to the amp, come back, and, whatever. But that IR can't go back out to the amp for sure. So you'd have to take that one out. So, but yeah, please remember to subscribe, like, and share, guys. You guys, I really need you guys to hit that like button and just participate a little bit more. You know, comment. Let me know what you guys need in terms of different units. Zoom just released some new multi-stop units, so I'll be doing those as well. So give me some likes, subscribe, and share, guys. I definitely appreciate you. And this has been another All Bass Creations effects tutorials, demos, and review. Hit me in the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the supers. I appreciate the love. You know what I'm saying? And you can find all my music at allbasscreations.bandcamp.com. And follow me on all social media at the Bass Niggas. I definitely would appreciate it. So y'all have a good one. Peace.